Transmog is coming to Destiny next season, and we recently were given some details on how it will work. We will play the game normally and accumulate a currency just from killing and completing activities that allows us to buy a bounty that will have some sort of objective related to strikes, crucible, or gambit. And once we complete that, will give us one synth weave to synthesize or transmog one piece of gear into a universal ornament. A 3-step process, but we can do this only 10 times per character per season, except for this first season, next season, where we will be able to do 20 per character. I think a lot of people are hung up on the cap of synth weaves, which is actually double the amount I expected when they first announced it. I'm more worried about the steps before, honestly. I think it could be a lot worse and kind of flying under the radar from what people are discussing now. But before we get into that, I kind of want to talk about how I view things and how I expect Bungie use things, which I think is important in this whole discussion. Keep in mind, Bungie has consistently posted some very high earnings with Destiny 2 year after year since Destiny 2 launched, and they've incorporated the Eververse store more and more into the game. Eververse, in my opinion, is pretty important to Destiny and for it to function as we know it today. I don't know exactly how they budget the game, but it definitely is going somewhere, and I don't think it's just lining, you know, each of their pockets. And with Eververse pulling in money every season, you know their budgets are changing with it. They are updating it with that revenue coming in mind. This is a pretty simplistic look, and you know, of course, I don't know their balance sheets and all, but from a business standpoint, you're always gonna see a company try to preserve their income as best as they can, and I think we should just expect that outlook from Bungie with these negotiations or hopes for compromise with this new system. So what that has to do with Transmog is basically this. The average player, when interfacing with Destiny for the first time, will have no access to universal ornaments and be pretty much at the whim of whatever legendaries they get. You know, I think we all in the community knows how that feels, whether you started a long time ago or started recently. And you know, as you build up ornaments from the season pass or buying them through the store, you know, you know how it feels to slowly get more and more. But there is always that pull early on, and you know, forever, with the old ones staying in stock to actually buy those ornaments. And Transmog is definitely going to hurt that urge. You have a path in the game to earn ornaments for free and actually control how you could look without paying real money. And I think that will definitely impact the bottom line for Bungie. And that is why I never expect Transmog to be fully free or even balanced towards the free side. I mean, you can always argue that they should do that or they should do the thing best for the gamers, but you know, it's hard to expect that from a company. So I kind of want to quickly talk about this whole cap debacle. If you don't know, a lot of people were kind of outraged about there being a cap at all. Like, they don't think there should be a cap, and they should be able to transmog everything the first season if they were able to, or if they grinded hard enough. Personally, I actually went into my collections and counted every piece of gear that I was even remotely interested in transmogging. So like stuff that I said, you know, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if I would ever really use it. I put that on the list still. Things that I thought were gross and I don't really think I could even incorporate into sets, that's the stuff I left off the list. And after counting all those up, I've got 41 Warlock pieces on this list, 43 Titan pieces, and 51 Hunter pieces. And I mean, if that is not enough to kind of open your eyes, I am a fashion Destiny player, probably half and half with PvP stuff on my channel. And I would say, I mean, with that few pieces, I will be able to do all of it in 4 seasons. And after that, will just kind of be, you know, of course, when they add new armor with each season, there might be a couple pieces here and there that bumps that number up a little bit. And I fully expect with the Witch Queen there to be some, at least, that bump that number up. So, I mean, you know, realistically, I still think you're going to stay within 4 seasons, because we're going to get 20 this next season, and then I'll be able to do 30 total in the next season, and then 40 total, and then 50 total, and that will cover all 3 classes if I can get all of those done every season. I also went in after that and kind of roughly ranked each piece into like my order of doing, like what would I synth weave or transmog first. And then I kind of made a mark where I was like, these are the ones I really want, and these are the ones that I kind of want. There's a specific set in mind that it would look good, but then maybe not look that great and everything else. And then stuff that just is like kind of interesting, but I'm not even really sure how I would work it into stuff. I just kind of like the aesthetic. For the pieces I must have, there was 19 Warlock pieces, 20 Titan pieces, and 24 Hunter pieces. And I do plan on making videos on those 3 categories. If you're interested, I think that could be a good video right before Transmog comes out. But what that really says to me is all of this could be, you know, kind of put to the side after 1 season for a lot of people, which is the part that scares me, actually. And this is kind of the whole subject matter that I wanted to get at with this video, is Transmog may be worse, like a lot worse than just a cap on the amount of times we can do per season. There's 2 steps before we can even transmog something, and there's no info yet, but Bungie could easily throttle us with an abysmal drop rate of that first material. You know, it could be like 1,000 kills for, you know, like 3, and you know, bounty costs 1 of those each. Or, you know, they could do the opposite way, where you're getting 1 every time, but a bounty costs like 1,000. And, you know, we don't have any idea. But in my opinion, I think we could really expect that couple steps, whether it's scarcity in 1 or even both, maybe, to just throttle us and slow us down, so we don't get to that final step as often as, you know, some people are probably thinking right now. They're probably thinking like day 1, I'm getting 20, I'm transmogging these pieces, and I'm going to be waiting around the rest of the season, and I'm going to be angry. If I had to guess, they might be banking on, you know, if you think about it, you got 90 days a season. So they're probably, you know, roughly calculating that in their head. They're thinking, we can get these people to play, you know, those full 90 days. And that's the goal with any game with microtransactions. The longer you're playing, or the more often you play, the more likely you'll buy stuff. I mean, that's just like marketing and, you know, like business economics. Like, they've done studies on that. So if they can delay people out and make you play 90 days of the season just to get all of those done, that's kind of probably what they're going to be aiming for. And so you're looking at 10 pieces per class, so that's like 30 total, and that is exactly 30 total. And if you know, worst case scenario, they want you to be like getting that done down to the wire, which is probably not realistic with their recent addition to the challenges instead of the weekly bounty stuff. They put in, what, 10 weeks of challenges and let you complete them all the last few weeks of the season. So let's say they want you really to be grinding 10 weeks, so 70 days out of the 90, which is a lot. They want that 30 spread out to 70 days. So you're looking at roughly 2 and 2.3 hours per synthweave grind. That's probably like a day for most people. Like I play probably between 2 to 4 hours of Destiny a day when I'm on Destiny. You know, lately I've been playing other games and kind of relaxing a little bit more with the game, but that could change if they really want me to get all these synthweaves like this. And next season, it's going to be 60 total. And I mean, that could be just a 1 hour grind per synthweave, which I think is extremely realistic. Like that's probably the low end. 1 hour. If it's like that, I mean, that's a busy season for like more casual gamers. Streamers won't be affected by this. They will be complaining about the cap. And those are probably the ones you see complaining about the cap mostly. I don't know how many hours they're going to expect us per synthweave. I'm thinking best case scenario, honestly, is 1 hour per synthweave. Worst case scenario, it could be up to like 18 hours, which is actually insane. But I think that's extreme worst case scenario. With the launch of Transmog, and I really expect things like the Shadow Throne to be completely patched. Like, you're not going to be sitting there popping thralls with your sunspot for an hour and getting all the stuff you need. I think they're going to put some kind of limit based on your time in the activity or amount of kills you get in the activity. Just so they encourage you to like do different things and just play the game normally. I would be very surprised if they didn't have that included with this. And that could have been honestly a cause for the delay, because it didn't launch with Beyond Light. So I mean, and Beyond Light opened up a lot of tools, I think, with in regards to like quest objectives and, you know, their control over how we actually interact with the game. And I think they had to wait for that to be in place to actually add these kind of limitations into the game. So, you know, if you're here and you got some exotic catalysts to work on, you might want to also get those done before next season. Just throwing that out there. That's my prediction. This huge backlash, I honestly don't know if Bungie was expecting it here. The way they've been handling Transmog is they've been trickling out the details. They announced it initially pretty, you know, light on the detail. They gave us good news with the collections based. That was kind of the yearly good news dump they do every year around this time to kind of get the fans hyped up again and excited, you know, get the pre-orders for the season pass up. I really think this kind of caught them by surprise though. I think they've been building this idea of a cap and small grind from, like, you know, the third update on Transmog, where they said, hey, we're going to be asking you to do some, you know, in-game work. They said that initially. And then they mentioned bounties in the one previous to this last update. In this update, they said, okay, here's how you do it. You know, get kills, get bounties, get the synthweave. And I really think they were going to ride... Maybe they expected some little bit of backlash here. And it really feels like they're spreading the backlash out. If they can just survive these initial spikes of backlash with each additional news to the system, I think that's kind of their plan. Just ride it out, and then it calms back down. Drop another little oopsies, it's a lot worse than you thought. And then drop another oopsies, it's worse than you thought. Once that's kind of cooled down. It seems to be their method, in my opinion. And that's why it's got me really worried. And so I'm going to go ahead and put out like what I think they should change. Keep the cap. It's honestly my opinion. I don't really care about the cap. Even if you're an average player, you have nothing to worry about. Trust me. If you're a streamer, I mean, I guess I get your qualm. You just want 100% your collections with transmoggable stuff. I guess I don't think. I think it's honestly more for them than for most people. You will not get impacted by that, honestly. I'm a heavy fashion YouTuber, PvPer, and I really don't think it'll affect me that much. I play Destiny a lot. I do fashion a lot. And I think it'll be fine, honestly. But I am worried, and I hope this. If this is not how it is, this is what I want changed. I don't want the grind to be super tedious. If it's super easy and you just get kills, you just do activities, and you get a ton of this beginning material. The bounties are relatively simple. You get them done, 10 minutes of playing to 30 minutes of playing, and you can knock out the synth weaves for the whole season pretty early, and you can chill at the end of the season like we do now. I think that would be great. And I just don't think that's how it's going to be right now. I think the complexity of it already kind of points to some kind of time delay system. If it was supposed to be just, oops, the hard cap is the biggest factor, they wouldn't need the first two steps. So I honestly, I hope they just get rid of the first two steps. That's my one hope. Just give us a few weekly objectives. You can build it into your challenge system already. That's already there. Just change some of the rewards to synthwave. That's literally all you have to do. And it just makes everything so much more streamlined. People can grind them all at the end of the season, maybe even quicker than just doing it every week, as I like people who play like me a lot do. And they can range in difficulty that way. And it has a kind of artificial cap already built in, and you don't have to say like, okay, there's a cap. You just kind of, put that many in, and that's what you get. So in conclusion, I expect the worst when Bungie is doing anything that's threatening the revenue of Eververse. And I think you should too. You should get in that mindset. If something's going to hurt the revenue, there's going to be some strings attached. I think that's kind of a meme in the subreddit. It's like the monkey's paw. You make a wish and it gives you what you wanted, but in the worst way possible. And that's kind of how it has to be with Bungie, it seems. And the large cap, which is going to be insane to some people to hear, but it's actually a large cap of synthwave per season, has me really scared that the grind to get those synthwave is going to be long, tedious, complicated, and it's going to sour it for a lot of people, make them want to spend the money to avoid it. I do hope to be wrong. I just wish Transmog could be added to the game without any worries at all, but I do understand the business side. But I do not like over complicatedness and grindiness if you're gonna already have a cap. But we will see next season. Let me know what your expectations are, what you're hoping to see change. If you have gone through your collection and kind of looked at what you want Transmog, how many seasons will it take you to do all of it? I'm interested. I think if you look, you may be surprised if you're outraged about the 20 to 10 per season. I'll see you guys in the next one though, and hope you guys have a great day. See ya.